Hi, it's Lorraine here for GoGo Getaway and for the GoGo Day Away Photo-Rama event. So I'm here with session 8 and it's my fun class, which is Projector Adventure, and that is with this lovely film strip that we're going to use to make cute little places to pop our photos. So here I'm just going through what you got in the kit. So you can see all the things that I'm just taking you through here. In your instructions that lists those as well. But this is from that Simple Stories Safe Travels range. Piece of white cardstock and all these lovely stickers, ephemera, tags, thickers and stamps. So see here going through various pieces of ephemera. So you'll see in a moment how I am working here on the main concept, the technique for this class, which is this lovely cut file which I've designed for the event. And I'm going to actually use these stamps to create a background effect all over that white cardstock cut file. And you can't quite see here because it's white on white, but I've actually laid that cut file on a piece of scrap paper, because with those stamps and black stays on, I'm just going to stamp and overlay some of the stamps over the edge so it doesn't create just the total image. Some of them have got the images slightly faded, so I've stamped without re-inking. You see here I'm using the ones that look like tickets, ones that look like the journal spots. The idea is to make it kind of looks like an old stamp passport in my eyes, or maybe even you know, like stamping tickets on something, or even like a map, even if you sort of look at it, you know, sort of like an old map, a sort of street map. But see here I'm coming along there with the tickets, different angles, making them off center and overlay the edges. At the moment you can't really see the definition between what is actually stamped onto the cut file and which is on that scrap piece of paper, but you'll see when I take that apart. So I'm just working really carefully here, so I use 3 or 4 different designs and just repeat in different areas, just creating at an angle, just re-inking, so some are darker, some are lighter. That butterfly stamp with that lovely sort of journaling in the middle, again it just works perfect on this cut file. At the minute it just looks like one big higgity mess of stamping on white, but the magic happens when I peel this cut file from that scrap piece of paper. So I come in here with some of the words as well that says best ever. So it creates just a different area in between those images of tickets and journal blocks. And then one of the smaller journaling, the little phrases, stamps. I think that one says today. Again, sort of just working into the areas that I haven't covered yet. Some of them are overlapping, as you can see. The idea is that it will make a really sort of subtle background. So it doesn't matter if some of the images don't stamp really clearly. Don't worry too much about that at all. So you just take your time adding to the various layers. Just having a look where those gaps are and filling in with the butterfly there. So you can see here I've peeled that from that scrap piece of paper and put on a new scrap piece of paper, but you can see now the definition of those 4 apertures. So I'm going to use this, so the 2 colours that you've got in your kit there of those shimmers. So I'm going to use that tealy colour first, and as a wash going from the bottom right at a diagonal, started off light, no sorry darker, and then working to lighter as the middle. So I'm using like the watercolour brush here and just going with the approach of making it light first and then adding on another layer on top so it looks like it's going that gradient from the darker to light into the middle. So I'm going to flip this round in a moment and you do the pink. So starting with the lighter, and then from that corner with the darker. That tealy colour and the pink don't overlap each other too much, just very subtle, because otherwise it would make quite a purpley colour that I felt wouldn't work with all the different embellishments and papers. Again, as you're going over on scrap piece of paper at the minute, it looks really quite messy. But when this all lifts off once it's dry, it's got really striking effect. Okay, so we're going to set that aside and we're going to start on the papers here. So we're going to cut this piece of paper that's got all those lovely different journaling blocks in half horizontally. So just where they're in between those two little, the ones with the squares, I'm just going to put aside one of those pieces of paper, the top half, that mustard square on it, and then with this pink stripe, cut into two pieces so they're 3 by 12 each, and stick one to the top and one to the bottom of that white cardstock background. You see here how I'm sort of just planning this, seeing what would be a good effect. I really want to add some of those colours, some of these lovely papers, but not also distract from that cut file and that stamping. So I'm cutting this paper in half, and then that half again to make two pieces 3 by 12 inches, with the stripes all running the same way as the pink, so that's vertically. I mean, if you want to be really frugal, you can cut these that navy paper even narrower. So I'm deciding which order it's going to go in. Really like that navy with the pink, so I'm going to commit to sticking here. So in your instructions it might be that I give the instructions in a different order than how you see me creating the page, but it's always best to follow the instructions because that is the most sort of methodical way of putting the layout together. But here you can see the crazy crafting brain thinking about what to do as it goes. So I'm going to use a distressing tool just on one edge of this pink stripe paper, and that will be the upper edge, the one that faces into the middle. Just creates a bit of texture on that top edge. So all the measurements for this, and you just see there, checking my measurements, checking it straight within your instructions if you want it to be positioned exactly the same. So I can commit to sticking it down there. And I can repeat with the other piece as well. So again, that distressing tool on the edge that's going to be facing down, so both distressed edges face into the middle of the layout. That just creates a bit of interest, ready for that sort of feature block with the cut file in the middle. There, using my ruler again just to make sure that's straight. Quite a simple background there, ready to feature that cut file. So just tearing those little edges a little bit more, showing some of the backing colour on there. Just folding some pieces back. So as you can see, that cut file film strip fits lovely in that middle piece with a white border around still, so it doesn't look too cluttered. You see that ombre effect of the colours now on top of that stays on black random stamping. Just, it looks fun. You see what I mean by it looks like a stamped passport or like a old street map or something. It definitely has that travel vibe about it. So I'm going to use some 3D foam here just to back this cut file and just to lift it from the back of the page. Just cutting strips here, just going down those middle like posts in between the apertures. And then I use some 3D foam pads around the actual like those little squares that are out. So that's just going to stick centrally in that white piece that's run through the middle. So I've got 4 small photos here. They're all 2 by 2 inches with a white border, and they're all elements of a trip back in 2010 of Disney. So sort of don't feature any pictures of any of us there, just various parts of around the park. Just to remind us of some of the things that we saw around there, really. So you see here I'm bringing in some of those colours from the other piece of 6 by 12 of that paper that you've set aside. I want to bring in some of the mustard there. And I want to bring in some of that sort of rusty burnt orange. Just trying to see where I can take that from and not lose an element that I want to save for either using on this layout or one of my extra inspiration layouts. So lots of thinking going on here. So I decided to bring in some of that navy stripe, which is the border at the top and the bottom, from one of the pieces. And just cutting a further one there. I'm thinking of using 2 at that point, I think, and alternating them. Just picking out some of the blues in the photos. See, some of the photos have got like a burnt orange in some of the flowers in, I think it's the Epcot sort of picture there over the river or lake, and some of that mustard too. And that way the elements, the stickers and the ephemera from this range, it will just give a nice array of those colours into it as well. So just seeing what I've got left that I can fit it onto. And they're really simple to do. So I've decided to actually mount those, and then they actually go on top of each of those apertures, not underneath. Again, that's just so they pop, so we can see that lovely sort of border around it. But I do infill each of those apertures with a square of that 3D foam, just to give it a nice sturdy surface to sit on and pop. So there they are, stuck in. So I'm starting to embellish here. So I work on that top right hand cluster at the moment. You see there with the tag and the sunshine and the glasses and the plane. I've sort of put the elements there, and then this lovely map that does happen to be United States of America, so fitting for my photos luckily. But I think that's going to work with anything. It's a map. It's, any travel that would go with. But you can easily swap that out for something else because there's loads of pieces of ephemera that you could use. So another plane there. One at the bottom facing right and the other one facing left. That gives that sort of flow to the page. Got some glue and sticking those pieces down. I know I want to have that top right cluster and bottom left cluster, because that gives interest to the page and really sort of frames that border in the middle. So just adding some of these sticker borders from the sheet, just making sure they're straight there to bring in that mustard colour. Luckily they come off the layout super easy without ripping the paper. So that's down there. So I'm now sort of thinking what would be good at the bottom. Colours do I want to bring in? So many to choose from here, and I settle with that kind of that burnt orange colour, that rust. So the palettes I've gone for here is the navy and the pink, and then the rusts and the mustards. I don't think I had anything of like the green in it. So I decide I would like my title to sit on top of that United States of America map feature, and I want to use the thickers. They're a lovely sort of mint colour, so they pop from the colours in the layout. And my photos, because of the size in there, I am just going to go for the Walt Disney World, so WDW. But you could put the date in there, so you could put like the year of your photos, like 2010, or you could put initials of people that feature in your photo. Or if you want a longer title, there's lots of alphabet stickers as well in this Simple Stories Safe Travels range that's in your kit. So lots of things you could do there. As you saw, I backed those 3 letters on some remnant white cardstock, just to give them a bit of a border and pop from that navy background. There, they fit perfect on there, as if that was meant to be. So I'm just tucking in some other little elements at the top right there. Got the little bucket list journal ephemera, got the tag with the mustard. That sunshine with the glasses just had to happen, it's too cute. And of course the glasses, we were in sunny Florida, so glasses and sunshines is a good plan. Me coming in here with the little ephemera of the credit card. I thought that was a brilliant addition to a travel range, having the little credit card ephemera. That made me chuckle. So I got a couple of little foam asterisks and dots from that thickers page, just to bring in that colour and that texture, and mirror that from the title. This is the fun part where you can really embellish, bring different things onto that page. Something is extending the title down, so we've got a subtitle, so vacation. The explore to the top right. Just overlapping, but not hiding too much of that decorative cut file. Adding in one of those little location markers there to where Florida is. That moves around a few times on that spot until I keep thinking, well, should it be the circle bit over it, or where the actual point is? I'm sure I overthought that before I stuck it down. See, that move, I think it gets swapped for a different couple of colours. Before it goes on that page. I think this would be a really good sort of like introductory page to a layout, to an album, if you're doing an album about a whole trip, a whole holiday, with those, you know, various different images from the different parks. So there we go, there's a close-up. So I hope you enjoyed my class. Look forward to seeing your interpretations.